I'm Liz, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm a 4th year medical student.
Hey there, my name's Michael, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm a 3rd year medical student. And we're from the University of Melbourne.
So guys, what are the prerequisites for your course?
Yeah, so to come into University of Melbourne Medicine, which is a postgraduate medical course, like most other postgraduate med courses, you will be going through the GEMSAT system. So that would combine, look at your GPA through your undergrad, which could be 3 years, 4 years, or 2 years if you're from Queensland. It also combines what is called a GAMSAT. The GAMSAT is a 6-hour-long examination broken into 3 parts. So first component is reading comprehension, second is writing, and third is multiple choice in terms of sciences. And then you will have the interview component, which for University of Melbourne at the moment is 50% of your weighting. However, all of this is subject to change depending on which year you'll be entering.
So as a high school student, your first step to entering the Melbourne Uni course is first doing an undergrad degree. So as part of your undergraduate degree, the University of Melbourne no longer requires a prereq course or prereq subjects to enter the medicine course, which means that if you're someone that wants to pursue an arts degree, you're welcome to do so. If you want to do a music degree, you can do that too. So you no longer need to necessarily do a biomed degree or a science degree or something along those lines. And so that way, we currently see with our sort of redesigned curriculum that there's a lot of students that come from a diversity of backgrounds, and they come from all walks of life, whether they're someone that's directly from their 3rd year of their undergrad degree going directly into the medicine course, or if there's someone that has previously done some study, has got some working experience, and now decides that they want to perhaps take a career change and start medicine. Now, in terms of starting medicine with the new course, there are quite a few resources to help students with, that now come from diverse backgrounds. And that includes bridging courses, so that students that don't necessarily come from that science or biomedicine background gets a bit of an introductory sort of program into anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, and all that kind of stuff. And there are also some extracurricular clubs that also help with that, that provide some support and extra sort of resources for students that don't necessarily come from from a science background.
Yeah, and I guess to talk about our own undergrad courses, so both Michael and myself, we did Bachelor of Biomed here at the University of Melbourne. I majored in neuroscience, but however, initially I was in the bioengineering pathway that was meant to be for biomedical engineering. However, I did change back in 2nd year because I found out university math was a lot harder than high school math, and I despised it. What about you, Michael?
So I ended up doing a pharmacology major. Going through, I kind of wasn't really sure what I wanted to do in terms of my major, but ended up with pharmacology just based on some subjects that I did throughout my biomed degree. But then with the sort of electives that I'd done, that also sort of opened up some other avenues as well, which if I didn't necessarily do medicine, allowed me to sort of explore different options. Now, we should probably mention that Liz and I were part of the cohort of students that used to have done prereq subjects, so a lot of students in our year levels would have done a biomed or science degree, but nowadays the system has changed so that there are students from a more diverse sort of backgrounds or experiences, and so had we sort of perhaps back when we were high school students picking out undergrad courses, maybe we wouldn't have done biomed or science, or there'd be more people that were from sort of more diverse walks of life.
Absolutely.
So guys, is it true that doing a biomed degree gives you the best chance of getting into med at Melbourne?
Yeah, so I believe that's actually quite a common myth that a lot of high school students believe. So although that we've acknowledged that in the GAMSAT, which is the test you need to do to get into postgraduate med at Melbourne, it contains a physics, chemistry and biology component. So yes, whilst doing science subjects such as like physics, chem and bio may help you in studying for the GAMSAT, your actual performance in the GAMSAT actually doesn't matter in terms of which undergrad that you do. So both Michael and myself have a lot of mates who have done non-science, non-biomed subjects, and they did just as well in the GAMSAT. However, if you do have a special interest in terms of the biomedical field, of course go for it, but we're here to tell you that there's no advantage of doing that course in University of Melbourne at least.
So what would you guys have done if you didn't do med?
Yeah, so in an alternate universe, if I didn't do med, I would be a marine biologist. In my spare time, I do love taking a cheeky snorkel down by the beach.
And I think if I didn't do medicine, I think I'd probably do some form of teaching, whether that's secondary or tertiary teaching. I did tutoring all throughout my undergrad degree, and I think the reasons why I did medicine and I guess being a teacher kind of overlap in a way in terms of making a difference and helping others, and also working with people. So I think doing teaching would be my sort of second or alternate career path. So as a first year student at the Uni Melbourne course, most of your learning will take place at the Parkville campus, so at the University of Melbourne campus. So right here we've got behind us the Melbourne Medical School building, and behind the camera is the Biomedicine Library building, where probably most students hang around to, I guess, you do your classes in the med building, and then there's a variety of different study spaces on campus. So most students will then come in about 3 days during the week for a variety of different classes. But then I guess something which differentiates the Melbourne Uni course is that in your first year you already start some placement. So in a month or in a 4-week cycle, students have 1 day every week at a clinical placement. So that includes 1 day at a GP in their first week. Then in the second week they do again another day in the GP clinic. And then in the third week, they'll have 1 day at an attached hospital site, which we'll talk about in a moment. And then the fourth week, I guess, is a break week. So that way, in a month, you kind of have 3 days of placement, 2 days at the GP clinic, where you go to see, I guess, primary care, as well as then 1 day in the hospital site. So this would be the case for most students, I guess, both metro and some rural students. But then there are a handful of students as part of the extended rural cohort, or the ERC cohort, that back-to-back have classes from their first to final year in rural clinical school sites. And so for those students, they would have their MD1 classes at the Shepparton campus. But that is only a handful. I think that's about 30 students out of the 300 and around 330, 350 Melbourne Medical School cohort. So the majority of people would start their first year at Melbourne Uni.
Yeah, so after first year, just like the sorting hat, you're sorted into different hospitals. So at UWML, we have 6 metro sites as well as 4 rural sites. So each one of these sites is a hospital that the student is attached to. So unlike other universities, we don't change our sites. Once you're in that site, you'll be there for the 3 of your clinical years. However, that being said, if we do miss certain placement for that hospital not having that department, such as for Michael and I, we're at St. Vincent's, which doesn't have obstetrics and gynecology or pediatrics, then we'll be going to Rural Children's or Rural Women's or the Mercy to complete these. In third year, we also have a GP rotation that goes for 6 or 7 weeks, and as part of that, even metro students can have a rural experience. So both Michael and I went somewhere rural during that time, and it was really good to experience rural health as well as going to our hospital placements. We do get to rotate through most specialties on offer, and aside from this, students can also elect to do extra placements, which are called electives, during the holiday periods. So in terms of our metro sites, we have Northern, which is up in Epping, we have Western Health, which is in Fitzroy and Sunshine, we have Rural Melbourne, which is just behind us. We also have St. Vincent's, which is in Fitzroy. We also have the Austin Clinical School, which is in Heidelberg, as well as the Epworth, which is in Richmond.
And then I guess in terms of our rural clinical school sites, that includes a site at Shepparton, a site at Bendigo, a site at Ballarat, and a site at Wangaratta.
So guys, where are we right now?
Sorry, Mum.
So we're in one of what we call our tutorial rooms. This is where in first year you'll be doing your case supported learning shoots. So in first year, part of the learning is to talk about pathophysiology as well as the mechanisms of different diseases and common presenting complaints. So in one of our shoot rooms. You can also come into these rooms to do clinical skills. So we have blood pressure machines here, we have this another chart, we've also got otoscopes and ophthalmoscopes, or you'll be practicing and learning your clinical skills.
So guys, what is your course structure like?
Yeah, so the University of Melbourne medical course has 4 years in total. We have 1 year pre-clinical where you learn all the foundations and basics, all of the clinical skills, and then 3 years of placements where you're on clinical placement for 3 years. However, that being said, many people choose to take a Master of Public Health between 3rd and 4th year, Master of Clinical Research, and some students even choose to do a PhD between the MD course. So it's very flexible. You're also allowed to take time off to travel, work, to have a kid. So it's quite a flexible course. But if you do a full-time course, such as Michael and myself, it is a 4-year journey.
And I guess as part of the new University of Melbourne redesigned course, in your first year, although it is predominantly a full-time preclinical course, you also have now 1 day a week every Thursday placement, where in a month you'll do 2 days at a GP clinic and then 1 day at a hospital site. And then as in addition to that, as part of the redesigned course, every single year students now complete what we call a discovery subject, which in effect is an elective subject where you get to explore areas in medicine which don't necessarily form part of a standard medical curriculum. So this could be about learning about medical research, it could be learning about space medicine, it could be learning about medical education, rural health in more sort of detail, as well as sexual health in more detail. So it really sort of, expands your sort of learning as a medical student, so that way when you're working as a future clinician, then you have more skills that you're equipped with in the future.
So guys, what's unique about the Melbourne Medical School?
Yeah, so we have a lot of placement time. In fact, 3 out of our 4 years are completely at the hospital, and now the first year, every Thursday is basically a clinical placement as well. What's really sets us apart to most other medical schools is that we stay at the one hospital for 3 of our years. This is actually very beneficial in terms of making accommodation decisions. So many of our students choose to move out of home in the second year when they're allocated to the hospital so that they can shorten their commute time.
And I guess another fun fact or unique aspect of the med course is now the discovery subjects that are on offer. So I guess throughout the 4 years, students are able to take elective subjects to explore interests that they have, which are related to medicine but aren't part of a standard medical curriculum.
And in terms of our intercalated, courses, what's really unique about Melbourne Med School is that we can choose to do a Master of Public Health, Master of Clinical Research, or even a PhD, or even of Master of Engineering between our course. So students can choose to do that between 3rd year and 4th year, and often there's a discount for that. So for example, if you wanted to do MPH, Master of Public Health, instead of doing the 2-year course, if you're a med student and do it within the MD course, you only have to do it for 1 year. There's also a lot of scholarships on offer for students pursuing these pathways. So for people who are interested in that field, it's might be worth it to pursue those.
So in terms of the students who have done a pre-work course, actually I should rephrase that. Pronouns are he, him, and I'm a 3rd year medical student.
Yep, and we're both at the University of Melbourne.
Sorry.